One of the things that I have always been concerned about as it relates to development, leadership, projects, community initiative, uh, freedom, and things of that nature is the importance of navigation and negotiation. One of the things that I've discovered, and I'm trying to address it, uh, is that a lot of our young people don't understand the power and the importance and how that contributes to one's success if in fact he or she learns how to navigate the system and negotiate in situations where negotiation would be advantageous. Well, I'm so happy today to have on this show a call to action hosted by Alex Habersham, the honorable mayor. I like the way that rolls, Larhonda. Warner Robins, in the person of Mayor, the Honorable Larhonda Patrick. Now, before I bring her on, because I mean, she's an elected official, which means she's a politician, but that doesn't mean it's hot air. So I'm not going to say anything about her bringing hot air. But before I let her uh, blow true air, I just want to make a couple of observations. First of all, she's the first female and the first minority, black, to be elected to that position, which is a phenomenal honor and an even more phenomenal accomplishment. Now, I'm going to take a little longer because I want to lead into this because the impact of her manner, her personality, her approach, her education, her community, the impact of that, her having that played a major role, in a city that's not majority black, ladies and gentlemen, played a major role in her being elected in that auspicious, I'm making that word up, Lauren, in that auspicious position as the mayor of Warner Robins. So I want to come out of the chute, thanking her and congratulating her for such a phenomenal accomplishment. And, it really bespeaks of how we can, I need to say this. Uh, this ain't DDI. Her being elected, I want to curse, but since I'm gonna be on there, I ain't gonna do it. Didn't have I'm gonna just say doggone. Her being elected didn't have a doggone thing to do with DDI. She was elected because of her accomplishments, her education, and her ability to navigate and negotiate. I'm trying to give y'all some hints to navigate and negotiate the system. So I'm just so proud of her, so humble and honored to be able to interview her and to just talk about her being the mayor, a little from a historical perspective, a little from a current perspective, and a little from the future perspective as it relates to where she came from, where she is, and where she would like to go in that position. How you doing, Mayor?
I am doing great. I'm so happy to see you.
So let's come
Thank
out and
you.
shoot this. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little background on yourself.
Okay. Well, you already know my name, LaRhonda Patrick. I am an attorney. I'm a mother of an 8-year-old, a vibrant 8-year-old. I'm a single mom, and I am blessed to been elected by my community to be the 16th mayor of Warner Robins. And as you stated, the first elected female minority African American mayor in our city's history. Some say I was also the youngest to be elected in our city, even though I was 38 then. And we've
Wow.
had a president of the United States at 42. So to
Right.
me, it's not really that young, but I'm now in my 40s, made it through my first term, excited about going into my second. And I know I give all the glory to God for allowing me to serve in this community at that capacity, which you kind of hit on earlier when you were speaking.
Oh, outstanding, outstanding. So, what kind of motivated you to run for mayor? I mean, I just think that, and you were successful, and particularly, when you look, since it was a precedent, it had not happened before for a female nor an African American. So, what made you think, first of all, that you wanted to run, and secondly, rightly so, that you could be elected?
I mean, that's a very good question. What gave me the nerve to think that I had what it took to win in Warner Robins? Um, and I'll tell you, when I was approached by a group of individuals in our community who kind of made a pack, uh, not officially a pack, but they did. It was a mixture of individuals from all different ethnicities, political affiliations, race, and they all came together to find good nonpartisan candidates to run for positions in Warner Robins because, according to them, our city was on a bad path. The spark that made me ever want to be in politics happened when I was in college, my last semester of college at Georgia State, when I got the legislative internship um, opportunity, and I worked at the state capitol for the House Representatives, and then I was hired full-time admin staff for Senate after I graduated before I went to law school. But that is when I first saw I wanted to run for office at some point in life, not knowing it would be at, running for mayor of Warner Robins. When it
Right.
came to me in 2021, I was planning to run for city council just because of the issues I was seeing in the city I was serving as a city attorney and solicitor for. I saw issues when it came to city government, and it made me pay more attention to my city government. And I said, I think I would like to run for city council in Warner Robins. So I went for it. But this group I mentioned to you, they are the ones that convinced me that I had what it took to run for mayor. And I literally remember telling them, I was like, yeah, you need to talk to that person or that person, which are opposite of me. And I said, they would never let a person like me become mayor of Warner Robins. Like, let's be real. This is not going to happen. But I mean, for months, I mean, they kept encouraging me, kept telling me that I could do this. And it took a long time for me to believe in myself after hearing what they would say. So I knew I had what it took to win based on my career, education, and experience, but I just didn't know if it was a time. But I stepped out on faith, listening to my random sampling of the city voters in our city. I walked out on faith and I went for it. And thankfully, I was successful. But I had doubt. A lot of people had doubt to see if I could do it. Um, but, God is able. And I gave it my all and it worked.
Said that you wanted to be the mayor for all people, irrespective of ethnicity, religion, employment, how they dress, and all of those other things. So just talk about, if you would, the role that you think that played. And then I want you to mention, I don't know what the percentages are in Warner Robins, but I know that it's not like Macon. It's not a majority black city, I don't think,
All right.
you know. And so just talk about the role that you're saying and you're wanting to be in fair and you're wanting to everybody involved. What role do you think that played in your being elected?
We'll start with the demographics of Warner Robins according to the last census. We are officially majority minority,
Oh,
41% white, 41% black, and the rest other minority.
okay.
So that was a surprise for most people in our community to see that. It also made some others frightened. I think it's great. But I'm so proud to see numbers like that, percentages like that. because we are Georgia's international city. We may not look as international as a lot of other cities, especially in metro area, but we were the first one to get the term. But to see that our community is made up of a mixture of cultures is a to me it's a plus. I came up as a military child. I was always around different cultures. I didn't see race until I was taught race when I moved to Georgia.
Mm.
Before that, I didn't. But I think the world would be better if we see that way, still respecting and uplifting our culture, but not judging people negatively because of their race. So that's a soapbox. Now back to why do I think the question you asked, why do I think me wanting to represent everybody helped to my election? Because a lot of people felt like they didn't have a voice. And we, as African Americans, we know what that feels like all too well. But a lot of individuals feel like they didn't have a voice, not just the Black community, which I represent, but also, different people in clergy. They felt like, they have all these thoughts, but nobody's listening. Same as, the medical profession. We have all these thoughts, but nobody's listening to us. Um, Same as, other communities, same thoughts. People felt like, why am I voting? Because they don't care what we think. And that's why our vote numbers were low. But I came in saying I want to represent everyone. The good old boy system is very well known for Warner Robins, Georgia, and we're only 82 years old, but people that even have never lived here know about the good old boy system. And I had to combat that and show that, there could be a system that existed, but we as a people make up the body of our city. And we have power to get things done if we work together, not just minorities, but everybody. So I think that really helped for them to see that I cared about everyone. And I'm not coming from the good old boy system. I'm not just helping out my rich friends or my friends that are known in politics throughout the state. I'm helping everyone and giving all of us, trying to give us each equity and equal footing.
To know that individuals from all seven, because the mission is for Warner Robins to grow. And so now, if you would talk a little specifically about, the kind of accomplishments that you made during your first term, and you were just, for those who don't know, you were just re-elected for the second term, which really begins in January.
Yes, sir.
Which begins in January. So talk a little bit about your first term and those accomplishments. And I know you were building a downtown, downtown Warner Robins. And talk a little bit about what's on the horizon for Warner Robins.
Okay, wonderful. So when I ran for office, there were a few things I ran on, things that we'd heard for decades, and no one did anything to further that, such as a downtown. So when I came in, I had an agenda of the things I ran on. And unlike the typical politician, to people's perspective anyway, I actually moved forward on all of them. I came in with a job, a goal, and each of those items I ran on stayed on that agenda. So I pushed hard. I was very aggressive. My team was very aggressive in making those things happen. And I knew I had to be because I had one chance to keep the door open. One. That's a lot of heavy burden to carry to know that the future of other others that match my description would have an opportunity to run for elected office at that level in my city. So I had one chance to get it right. 4 years, that's it. So I pushed hard when it came to having a homeless shelter. We have Haven Hope House now, and it is open. I pushed hard when it came to building a downtown finally. And I came into office with the city only owning less than an acre of the 17-acre tract of commercial circle.
Hmm.
And now we own over 70% of that same acreage. Um, I was committed. We worked hard. Um, we also talked about, expanding our parks and rec and innovation. We have the Eno Lab, INNO Lab, one word. We have the Eno Lab, which is a collaboration with Apple and also Ed Farm. And that made national attention. And it was the first community-based innovation lab that Apple had ever done.
Wow.
It was Warner Robins, Georgia. Now they have, I think, two others in the nation. We were basically the pilot.
Right.
Um, so we've moved forward with a lot of those things. We gave raises to our city employees who hadn't seen raises in years, up to 35% for the majority of our personnel. We also, move forward with other redevelopment projects, focusing on the oldest parts of our city, which we call the downtown district, which goes further than Commercial Circle. It goes all the way to 247. So we're making progress on that. We're getting some good developments coming in our International Industrial Park. We got Pratt, we have Kiomat coming. We already had local bounty. We already had local bounty. We have big developments such as BJ's in the Peach County portion of our city. We have Emory that's come in to take over our healthcare system, the first hospital for Emory outside of metro area. So that's a huge accomplishment. And we got the 4 new missions at Robins Air Force Base. We're pushing forward with encouraging developers to build houses that don't have a lot of land to it, make it more dense so that people can afford to live there who can't afford $350,000 mortgage. And
Right.
that's why we're seeing more mixed developments coming into our city. Townhomes, we got townhomes coming, we have quads, we have houses with smaller lots because we have a demand for it. But we've done a lot of great things. In my first term, I know I'm going to miss out on a few things, and it's gotten a lot of attention across our state, not just in our region. And I'm just so thankful for having a council that we really work together as a family. We don't like everything about each other, which is normal, but we know how to work together and make our mission happen. And we connect and agree on most of the big things, and that matters. And we're kind to each other. We don't tear each other down in the public like some others may do. And we uplift each other, and we speak highly about each other. And that's probably kind of some of the comments you heard from the video you'd watched. I get a lot of the positive comments, but I think I get the positive comments because I came to this position committed to being a public servant, not a politician who's looking for a red carpet. A lot of the representation we've seen in our community has been the politician, but someone who actually cares for the community and does everything for the community. That is what a public servant does, and that's what I am. And I've never stopped showing our community that I am a public servant and not a politician. I know politics, but I choose to be more about service than for people serving me, which is refreshing. So I get a lot of compliments because of
Very,
that.
very. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said, what's on the horizon? The
Right.
other part of your question, what's on the horizon for Warner Robins? Well, get ready for a lot of ribbon cuttings because we are going to be moving forward with our downtown redevelopment project for Commercial Circle. It's called Operation Reawaken. Um, and we're getting some local investors investing in some of the properties that's buying into our vision. We're going to have our design standards finished next year. We'll be going out for RFP, request for proposal, for a master developer next year, and hope to announce the master developer that we've selected to build our downtown from the ground up. Hope to announce that by 2027, and that dirt will start moving in 2027. So that's a huge accomplishment that's going to be on the horizon. We already have 4 unsolicited proposals by very large multi-use development companies that build things like the Avalon, things like Atlantic Station across our nation.
Wow.
So you have to go in with a big company to do a downtown from the ground up, because that also tells you how successful you're going to be, because they already have the staples. They already have the stores they bring with them whenever they do development. And that is part of the battle. It's actually a large part of the battle, because if you want big stores to come to bring the people, you have to have the relationship. And we as a city, we're not developers, but we got to hire a big boy to do it. But we also have spaces for local community to build as well. So I like the way we're doing our downtown plans. It's not just about the big developers, but also the local developers as well. And each of them have a piece of the pie. And the Commercial Circle is a circle, so it really is a pie. So yeah, that's a big one. We have a new animal shelter we'll be doing as part of our 2024 SPLOST project, partnered with the County of Houston and also the City of Centerville. It'll be in Warner Robins. A lot of people are excited about that, more of a storefront, pet store component to it, so that our dogs and pets and cats can get adopted more quickly.
Wow.
So those are the big part of second term. Transportation is also one. More of the on-demand transit is what we're looking for our community, that you can order in the palm of your hand.
talk about the importance of understanding how to navigate. Now, I know that everybody was not happy when you were first elected as Mayor Warner Robins.
Yes.
I know that there was some backlash, but because of your ability to navigate, navigate the system, navigate the problems, anticipate maybe the reaction, then you've been able in 4 short years, to transform the whole concept, the support, the aura, the belief in your community. And girl, that's an accomplishment, sister girl.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's really so. Talk about the methodology, and it's probably so natural to you, it might be hard to talk about the methodology and the advantage of being able to navigate. I get disturbed, frankly, about some of our young people of all ethnicities who don't understand how to work through the system and navigate problems. And hey, um, that's what's happening to the country.
Yeah.
So talk about the importance of that and whatever methodology you use for that.
Yes, that's great questions. Um, when I came into office, it wasn't easy. It's still not easy now. It's easier. I just don't talk about the challenges I have to face and the darts I have to take because of what I represent when I walk into a room. It is still very alive and apparent. But one of the things that I did, and nobody told me that I need to do this, but I had to make sure I wasn't intimidating individuals who came to see me because I wasn't wanted by a lot of the community leaders in Houston County. Um, Not just the elected officials, I'm talking about the community leaders. So I would make sure I did something as simple as not sit at the head of the table when they came to see me. I made sure that I rolled out the red carpet for anyone who came to see me, also making myself less intimidating. I always had to dress professionally, so I always wore a suit. I always wore a jacket, which my profession um, taught me I need to always have on a blazer. As an attorney, we were taught that in law school, so it's kind of stuck in me to always have it. I always wore something to kind of cover my curves so that I looked a little less feminine, and I felt like I had to do that too. It took some backlash from women, but their perspective in life. I have my own perspective, and I know what I needed to do to play in a man's world. So I did those things. So it was little things that I did. I always talked about team. When I would go to council about things that we wanted to do in the city, I'd always say we. When I do an interview, I would always say council and I still do it today. But little things help me to navigate.
Wow.
Um, Being treated differently because I'm a female. And it really helped me because it made people who thought, oh, she'll never do good. Our city's, going to H in a what do they say? In a handbag,
That
hell
was
in
in
a
my
handbag.
handbasket.
Yeah, they would say that. But I make sure every time I'm speaking to them, I always speak professionally anyway, but I always make sure I show them and they hear some of the experience I have in my career that equips me to do this job, whatever their perspective was. And it really helped. And they'd leave and they'd say, oh, she's really smart and she's really fair and, she might be okay.
Yeah,
And that's what my mission was.
yeah.
Um, and then the second part of your question was about the young individuals who are trying to come out and lead in different capacities. A lot of them are running for elected office, which is a good thing. But the part that I want them to focus on more is to study and show yourself approved. My election cycle, I had a younger individual who wanted to run against me and thought that he could become mayor of the 11th largest city with a strong mayor system, not realizing what that means. So I encourage all young people who want to be involved in politics or who want to lead in an organization or a company, study and show yourself approved first. That's how you find out how to navigate. Learn how to be a professional.
Wow.
Work in a big in a organization similar to the size you want to run or lead. If you don't have those skills, and life teaches you a lot of the skills, some things you don't read in a book. You have to know how to read people, how to work with people, um, how to, advance different missions. And you can't do that just because you graduated high school with a diploma and you run a landscaping company with, you know, not a lot of revenue. And
Right.
you can't do that if just graduated college and you were the SBA president of your college. That's not enough to do
Right.
this job.
Right.
But the thing about it, I think, is we make it look easy. It's not easy. You're not running for a city council. Sorry, you're not running for your student council at your high school or college. You are running to be a leader, and that comes with a lot of responsibility. And you can go to jail quite quickly as an elected official, and they don't know that what they don't know.
Yeah.
So I encourage those individuals to, if you want to be in politics or you want to lead, get in some leadership courses. Start working in the in city government. We're having a hard time finding good talent out of college that have the skills to do what we need them to do. Most of them aren't even trying to work for a city or municipality. Go in there. If you wanted to be in city government, work in it first, learn it. Then after some years, you've studied now. Now you can show yourself being approved. But we have that. I think it's going to only get worse in our country with younger individuals trying to run for offices which they may not be prepared for. Used to be a time where you thought like, oh yeah, I have to wait until such and such time to run for that. Well, those times are now going away because of the shift we're seeing. But it can go right back if we start speaking things like what I just stated and teaching the young individuals, you can do this. You can run for it, but you understand what that means.
Right.
It's not just something that is a red carpet. You got to
Right.
get out of the red carpet mentality. A lot of them may not even be involved in service in their community at all. And that's one of the things I lead with. When you're electing a person, see if service is what they do. See if service is who they are. I was about service before I was ever elected to office, working in nonprofits, working in our community, giving to those less fortunate. If they don't even have that as a skill, they're not the right person to be a public servant in your community.
I'm your host, Alex Halbersham. Having interviewed the Honorable first Black, first female elected mayor of Warner Robins, Georgia, in the person of the Honorable Larhonda Patrick. Again, I want to publicly thank you and congratulate you and support you. Uh, if in fact, you don't know, then I'm sure that there's a way to become familiar, more familiar. You Google her, with
Yeah.
Miss Patrick, what she does, what she has done. And if you're interested in some information, you can just call City Hall. One thing about her, she takes her messages. You heard her say that she's the mayor for everybody. So join me if you would in congratulating her, and join me also in supporting her for the phenomenal job that she did, is doing, and will do in the international city. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham. Thanks again for all you do, Mayor Patrick. Y'all have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com